皆さんこんばんはこんばんはสวัสดีค่ะทุกท่านค่ะวันนี้ก็มีไลฟ์นะคะตามที่โพสต์มานะคะเกี่ยวกับ ceremonial grade matcha ค่ะโอ้โหไวมากเลยสวัสดีค่ะ
Nice firework
Nice firework thank you ขอบคุณค่ะโอเคไลฟ์นี้นะคะต้องขออภัยด้วยว่าอาจจะแปลเป็นภาษาไทยไม่ทันนะคะพอดีแรมไม่เร็วเท่าไหร่นะคะเลยไลฟ์นี้เลยขอเป็นภาษาอังกฤษละกันนะคะ Alright, so this live we're going to make into English live because it took quite some amount of very important to translate into Thai at the same time also finding that you put together with you. Okay ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ Hello. Okay, so in this live we're going to be talking about ceremonial grade matcha. I'm pretty sure that many of sellers, many of the consumers or like beginner who's just get into matcha. I'm sorry, saying English. Getting into matcha, and then there's a lot of matcha in the market that very cheap, like 100 grams, like 200 baht, and it said like ceremonial grade matcha. So in what we usually know that ceremonial grade matcha as like on the label, it's relatively quite a little bit more, quite considered a little bit expensive.
Ceremonial grade is more expensive.
Yes, and with the growing market of matcha, there has been a lot of misinterpretation that have been found, and hence this live we're gonna be talking about what is ceremonial grade matcha, and also what is the ceremonial matcha the best, or how ceremonial grade matcha comes to like it is what it is now, like why is like ceremonial grade, why is it a bakery grade, and when did it start happening. It's not just pop up, like the seller said this is ceremonial grade, just ceremonial grade, right? So like in this live we're gonna be talking about how it becomes like that, and just for additional information so you guys can understand more about at least some brief like recent matcha history, and also what is generally recognized in Japan. And also, wow, already 11 person. Hey, thank you for coming. And lastly, we're gonna have some recommendation for like matcha for beginners. As we open the shop, and we regularly have some questions like, is this ceremonial grade? I want to make it into matcha latte. I want to make into like bakeries, and I want the best quality. I want like ceremonial grade matcha only, and we feel like you don't really need that, that expensive matcha to begin with. It's not always like saying that it's the best. So we're gonna be recommending you that one too. So we. As usual, I'm Pop. I'm the administrator of the Chajin Live, Chajin Tea Supply, co-founder of Koto Tea Space. And here we have Yusuke Nakanishi. I already told you about it for you. Okay, so he's a co-founder of Koto Tea Space and also Chajin as well. Yes, and since he's Japanese and he studied the tea a little bit. So we're gonna be asking in the perspective from like Japanese too. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna be get into the topic. So about the ceremonial grade matcha, let's say how it comes to be. Like I've heard before, like before that in the history we have like a tea, like tea ceremony, tea channel use service of tea, and then gradually starting to become more commercialized. So like, can you tell us more about that?
From where? About the history of matcha?
Yeah.
Okay, so about the Japanese matcha drinking culture come from the Kamakura era around the 12th century and introduced by the Japanese monk who studied China and then noticed the health benefit of tea and also helpful for practice of the Buddhism Zen monk work. So brought like a tea seed and spread Japan and the people start producing. And one of the province is which is famous is Uji. So this kind of flow is go to the Uji matcha industry. And around that time, there is not the Japanese leaf green tea is not developed. The Japanese leaf tea is around the Edo era, 300 years ago. So from the 1,800 years ago to 400 years ago, what people say tea is almost equal matcha.
Tea was matcha.
Matcha.
So no other tea.
Bunch of possible, just like a tea for the local people don't know how to treat it, but they grow the tea. Maybe some place sun dry, some place pan fire, some place just dry in the burning around the irori, something dehydration anyway, and just brew in the a pot and drink is a tea. And around and flow, I say something the time which is flourished is Sengoku era, around the 16th century. At the time, matcha quality increased and matcha become kind of boom for the high-rank people, rural, also noble people. But on the other hand, matcha costs quite a lot. So normal people, out of the high-rank people, they normally drink matcha. Normally drink the bancha, something local tea, and which still survival. So you had about goishicha or bancha or black tea, krocha in the Toyama or something. This kind of thing is what the normal people used to drink as a tea. And they longing for the high rank people's culture, therefore something mimic is preserved, Okinawa bukubukucha, right? So tea is a bancha, but use a very big and unrefined chasen and they make a bubble and they separate and drink.
Very big.
Yeah. Yes.
And then there's a bata cha, bote cha.
Yeah.
Bukubuku cha.
Yes. Yeah, everything in the buku bata bata bote is like a sound to make a bubble. And around that time, so I mean the one thing, if process the matcha without any machine, it costs a lot and use a lot of labor. For example, hand pick, and after that steam and dry, and then before grinding need to make tencha, right? Tencha means need to separate the vessel or stem of the leaf and also soft part of the leaf. This one separated by hand, use a lot of female worker. So the cost is quite expensive and also quite exclusive. And the other time, the matcha is only for the noble people, so quality is extraordinary only. There is no a cheap category matcha. Also in the price list of the tea in Edo era, the famous tea shop like Uji or Edo in Tokyo, there is a main category, koicha category, usucha category, sencha category.
So koicha, usucha, and sencha.
Yeah.
So at that time already had sencha.
Already had sencha, but the sencha is wider meaning. Sencha is brewed tea. So it means senjiru in Japanese language is put the tea leaf in the boiled water and the scoop is also sencha. Boiling is a simmer. Senjiru is a simmer. So put many Chinese medicine and boil also senjiru, sencha. Japanese language. And also there is some special category as a demono of the tencha, koicha sencha. It means the stem of the koicha leaf. or sencha koicha. No, sorry, usucha sencha. So it means the stem of the usucha leaf or something.
So right now it's kind of like a tembone.
Tembone, yeah. This one contain a lot of amino acids, so possibly can drink like a gyokuro or like a brew in the tencha before grinding. And around the history, so at the time only high quality matcha only, and when bakery grade matcha happened is a very recent time, around the middle of the 1980s, around the third, 40 years ago. Around 40 years ago, there's a more demand of the matcha for food processing, not just drinking as a usucha or koicha.
So food processing in Japan is kind of like in Japanese?
Yeah, in Japanese, 食品加工用 matcha, food processing matcha. So it means that originally matcha is drink, but food processing it means the usage is for mixing. So I think latte included food process. So it means that making latte is a mix matcha with other a drink material. So food process.
So food processing could also be, I'm having a very factory